We are constantly confronted with stories of staggering success. Millionaires who built empires from scratch, Olympic champions who overcame incredible challenges, artistic geniuses who made a breakthrough. These stories mesmerize, inspire, make us believe in miracles. We long to know their secret, to unravel the magic formula of success, to repeat their path. But what if we see only the shiny tip of the iceberg, not noticing the giant underwater part, consisting of many failed attempts, forgotten projects, and unrealized dreams? What if many others who have tried to achieve similar things have failed, and their stories remain unknown, lost in the shadows of resounding victories? Today we will talk about the survivor's mistake, a cognitive distortion that causes us to draw conclusions based solely on apparent successes, completely ignoring the many failures. We focus on the winners, forgetting about the losers, which leads to a serious distortion of the real picture of the probability of success. This, in turn, significantly affects our decisions, causing us to jump to conclusions and make unrealistic plans. We will understand how this effect works in practice and, much more importantly, how to avoid it in order to make more balanced and informed decisions based on an objective assessment of the situation rather than on the illusion of easily accessible success. History is overflowing with examples of survivor error. Consider the damage analysis of airplanes returning from combat sorties during World War I. Analysts, examining the locations of punctures on the fuselage and wings, came to the conclusion that the armor on these very parts of the plane should be strengthened. It would seem a logical conclusion. However, statistician Abraham Wald pointed out a fundamental error. Only planes that returned from a mission were analyzed. Planes that had sustained damage elsewhere simply could not return to base, becoming invisible to analysis. Wald suggested reinforcing the armor in areas where there were no breaches. His brilliant intuition was to realize that damage in these seemingly safe areas was fatal. This is a striking example of how focusing only on success stories, in this case, returned airplanes, leads to wrong, and sometimes disastrous, conclusions. History is full of similar examples where seeming success on the surface hides many failures that we fail to notice and therefore fail to learn important lessons from. The business world is awash with stories of stunning success, which we often take as universal guides to action. We see the stories of Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and try to find the secret code of their success, to break down their strategies step by step. We analyze their solutions, trying to copy their path. But in doing so, we inevitably forget about the thousands of other companies that have failed despite seemingly similar starting conditions, perfect business plans, and incredible performance of their founders. Successful companies represent only a tiny tip of the iceberg. By studying only them, we ignore the many factors that lead to the failures of others. Survivor error in business causes us to overestimate the chances of success and underestimate the risks. Leads to poor planning, misallocation of resources, and, as a result, risky investments based on an illusory, distorted view of the probability of success. We must learn from mistakes to avoid repeating them. Only a comprehensive analysis, including both successful and unsuccessful cases, allows us to get a more objective view of reality and develop a truly effective strategy. The world of investing is a battlefield where most players fail. We see stories about those who got rich in stocks, cryptocurrency, or real estate, and, fascinated by success, we try to repeat their path, blindly copying their strategies without thinking about the risks. We admire successful traders forgetting about the silent army of investors who lost all their savings by losing in this risky game. We see only the tip of the iceberg, the success stories vividly covered in the media, and overlook the huge underwater part, consisting of countless failures that often remain hidden from public scrutiny. This effect is particularly strong in the investment arena, where risk is inseparable from potential return. Remember that successful investments are often a fortunate combination of in-depth market knowledge, careful analysis, risk consideration, long-term strategy, and, even despite all of that, a modicum of luck. A survivor-s investment mistake can lead to rash, overly risky decisions based on the illusion of easy enrichment, on superficial analysis of success stories without taking into account the many failures. It is necessary to soberly assess risks, study statistics, analyze both successful and unsuccessful investment strategies to form an objective view of the market and develop your own balanced and well-thought-out strategy that minimizes losses and maximizes the chances of success. Survivor-s mistake creeps into our personal lives and forms a distorted picture of success. We often observe happy families, successful people who have realized themselves in various spheres, and begin to think that it is easy to achieve the same success. It seems to us that it is enough just to follow their example, copy their actions and approaches. However, in doing so, we focus on the apparent idol, forgetting about those who face difficulties, disappointments, and failures in their relationships, careers, or self-actualization. We only see those who have survived in a difficult world, but overlook those whose stories are left behind, those who have failed or failed to realize their dreams. This lopsided perspective creates the illusion that success is the norm and available to everyone if only they put in enough effort. Instead of focusing on perceived success, it is important to remember that behind it is often a long and thorny road full of obstacles, disappointments, and setbacks. It is important to be realistic in your expectations and not idealize other people's success stories. Each of them hides many factors that influence the final result. Success is rarely accidental. It is often the result of hard work, perseverance, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. It is also important to recognize that failure is an integral part of every person's life. We must learn from our own and others' mistakes. This will help us develop a better understanding of what success is and the effort it requires. Success is not only luck, but also the result of constant work on oneself, overcoming difficulties, and willingness to learn from one's mistakes. It is important to remember that behind every success story there are years of effort and many failures that go unnoticed. So how can we avoid this insidious cognitive distortion? First of all, you need to actively seek information about failures. Study the stories of those who did not succeed. Analyze the reasons for their defeats. Do not limit yourself to successful cases because they create the illusion that success is easy. Pay attention to details that are often overlooked. Look for information from different sources to get a more complete and objective picture. It is important to develop critical thinking, the ability to analyze statistics and probabilities, not to make hasty conclusions based only on apparent successes. Be skeptical of the information you receive. Always look for confirmation. Explore alternative points of view. Only a comprehensive analysis, including both successful and unsuccessful examples, will allow you to get an objective view of the situation and make a truly informed decision. Survivor error is an insidious cognitive distortion that can impact all aspects of our lives, from making business decisions to building personal relationships. This phenomenon occurs when we focus only on those who have succeeded while ignoring those who have failed. Understanding this mistake will help you make better decisions, form more realistic plans for the future, and avoid the traps that our own perceptions and biases create. It is important to remember that success stories often capture our attention and inspire admiration, but behind them are not only triumphs, but also many failures, challenges, and obstacles. It is important not to forget those who did not achieve the desired outcome. Learning from both victories and defeats allows you to get a full picture of reality and avoid the trap of survivor-s error. This knowledge makes your decisions more effective and informed. Instead of relying solely on inspiring success stories, it is worth looking at the lessons you can learn from failures. These lessons can help you better understand which factors contribute to success and which can lead to failure. Realizing that failure is a normal part of the journey to success allows us to be more resilient and adaptive in the face of uncertainty. Thus, It is important to maintain a balance in your perception of success and failure. By studying both aspects, you will be able to develop a deeper understanding of the processes in your life and the world around you. This will help you make more informed decisions and build more robust strategies to achieve your goals. Thank you for your attention.